So here we go from the inside out, running on the spot. Chris Curtis and the Sandman. Well, last night I tried to get at you with a program, or somebody called in from the joint to kind of really it was a verifying of what I said, but who needs that, right? We ended up scrapping it all because of some equipment malfunctions, and we're in the mix on getting some things together. But tonight we went out and dug one of these big old fat microphones to see how this would work, and it seemed like it was coming through all right. So so we're going to run with that and see what we can't get going. And I'm going to run a little bit by you about what we were talking about last night, man. And here's the get down. I was talking about my dog, okay? So I was in Soledad, and I'm in a dog program. It was a veterans hub, is what they called it. I was working my way out, man, and it was where they were sending all the vets to be able to get their paperwork done, to get all their everything they had coming, all their medical and all that stuff, right, for veterans. So when they get out, they would already have their checks lined up and all that. And everybody knows I'm an Army vet, right? So go Army, right? So so there it was. It was inevitably at the end. It was part of what got me out, but not the whole get down. So I'm gonna lay that out for you. How hard it is for a guy who comes from wherever they go from to them other yards to try to go home, because you got guys over there that are just fucking creeps, man. So I'm there, and I get in this dog program, man. I'm in the dog program, and my wife kind of knows the woman that runs it, and she brings the woman a Dogo Argentina. You'll see the pictures up here. Purebred. Those are vicious but beautiful dogs, and they're bred in Argentina, and they were bred by a doctor, and they were bred to kill pumas and mountain lions, etc., and wild boar and whatnot, right? So these cats are big and they're vicious. Some of these dogs are big and they're vicious. And we'll throw a picture up of one of them taking down a wild cat, a puma, mountain lion. So anyway, she brings the dog down and gives it over to the woman that runs the program. The woman brings the dog into me, and I'm training the dog, and I have it. Well, I got this whole program, man. They're up in arms and jealous about this dog. The ones that had pit bulls and part Cane Corsos and all of that, they were just, the Cane Corsos weren't full. They weren't full-blooded. Here I am with a full-blooded Dogo Argentina, and they were getting jealous about it. And I wrote this program, right, the Veterans Life Skills Program and the Universal Life Skills Program for the non-vets. And I wrote the book, which is the curriculum to go with it, the Encyclopedia of Self-Help. The program was pretty much a success, right? So what happened was Soledad, Ward and all of them gave me one building, one side of it. As my get down for my program. They gave me an office in there and a computer and everything right there. I had all that, and I was running my program, right? And these dudes are going through their levels. And it was a really good thing, all right? Well, I reached a point to where, even though I was incarcerated, I was going to start getting funding for this program, grants and everything, and people could see it coming. And a bunch of these creeps decided they would like to get my program, somehow get me out of there to where they could get it, take it over. And they teamed up with some chick that was coming in on some flunky fucking program to try to hijack mine. And then they wanted my dog, too. One of the staff members there wanted my dog. And was trying to get, but nobody knew my wife and the woman that brought the dog in were friends and everything, and what was going on the outside with that. So what happened was about 7 of them got together with this staff member and this free person, and they went in there, and one of them said I smacked him in the mouth outside the door, the dorm or something. Another one said that I snatched him by the throat in the gym and told him I'd cut his head off. And you know what? Off to the hole I went, man. And separated me. They called me to the office one day, said leave your dog kenneled up. And I did, man. And they called me over there, slammed me in the hole. They tried to take the program. They tried to take the dog. Well, it didn't work out. My wife got back up there, and she made that woman go in there and get my fucking dog and bring it out to her, and she took my dog home. That dog's with me today. But so all things happened, right? So now there's 7 dudes against me. The investigation's coming out. I guess one of them leads the group, gets in a fight with the other ones, and tells on them all for setting me up. but they're not going to let me back out to the yard to get my program out back or nothing because there's 7 guys. It's easier to transfer one. Wham! Off I go. I lose my veterans program. The veterans I lose being able to have my dog with me while I was in prison. The best dog they had ever come through that program. And I lost my program on my unit and all of that stuff. And more so than that, all these other guys lost my program on the yard for a minute because what I had done, that program at that point couldn't function without me. Okay, now CDCR's got videos where they played because they came in and filmed my program for all of CDCR to see what was going on there. And they had me in the office talking to them about like to see guys come in, make a change, and go out a different person and stay out, right? So they ended up doing all that for naught. I get to Folsom. When I get to New Folsom, I tell this cat that called in last night, Shane, about it, right? And Shane's going, yeah, this just sounds way out and nutty. At the end of the day, it all proved true to him. So now they had this guy and this lawyer, this attorney, right? And he was running around and he was rated #1 in California, named Spolin, right? Spolin Law. And I hired him. And I hired him to do the paperwork, to put everything forward, and I wanted him to do the military thing, right? I mean, I'm paralegal, right? Certified, and some advanced courses, but you know what they say about if you got yourself for an attorney, you got a fool for a client, right? So, but neither here nor there. That lawyer comes, we pay him all that money, and he tells me, well, you know, that right there, give up on that. You're not going to get out on that. Ain't going to happen, right? He goes, these couple things over here are what I'm going to do for you, and that'll get you out. So he leaves. I tell my wife, I say, you know what? That's fine. He can do what he's doing. We paid him for that. But I'm doing this because I know. I already hate his corporates. My girl steps with me the whole time. She never turned her back on me. She fought the fight, man. And when she said ride or die, she meant ride or die. And that's what this whole thing's all about. How important it is that family members, wives, loved ones, children, whatever, don't turn your back on, no matter how outrageous it sounds. That guy's telling me, man, I should be out. I shouldn't be in here. I can get out. CDCR will come in and put their boot on everybody's neck and try to convince family members and everything that he's just crazy. He's just saying that. He's not going home. He's not getting out. He don't have no action. And I'm going to tell you my story and why you should never listen to them. And you should stick it out with your dude because a lot of people don't stick it out. And that individual ends up sitting in jail when he shouldn't be and didn't have to. And that's my story. And don't give up on them. So my wife didn't give up on me. So I filed a writ and everything. And I'll be on the tablet with her, talking to her and having her look up this case law or that case law. And when we hang up at night to go to bed and all the I love yous and tucking ins and all that's done, I go to sleep. I wake up in the morning and find that she spent a large portion of the rest of that night looking up new case law. Well, hey, baby, how about this? Hey, baby, how about that? And it all meant a lot. It went a long ways, and I would apply that to everything. So I put the writ in. I already knew I was going to get denied because the judge had denied me once before on a similar type thing, and he was going to do it again. He was going to make the appellate court tell him if anything, but I knew this. File the writ. And I filed it and wrote it with the intent that the appellate courts were going to see it. Bam, I get denied. So I get denied. I immediately file a notice of appeal, and I take the appeal up. And at that point, they give me an appellate attorney who's a very good one. I've had him several times. Once they give you one, it tends to keep going back to that person. So he's got it, and F. Shuck. So he's got it, and he files it and all of that. And he tells me, man, dude, you're going to get sent back to court. So sure enough, man, my wife has stuck with me through it all, and we fought it. Bam, appellate decision comes down, and it's a reversal, and I'm going back to court for resentencing. I get back there, now they switch judges. There's a different judge on. And this judge's get down is, I have never sentenced anybody to these new laws and let them out. I'm not going to start now. And I had sent my book all completed. Not only did I write the book, I did the work in it so you could see what it was about. Had all the certificates, everything else. I had an award from the mayor of Soledad for my programs. I had an award from the 12th district senator for my programs. He's looking at all of that, right? And at the end of the day, he's like, you know what? If not you, then who? He goes, here's what I'm going to do because I am not going to follow these new laws and resentence you that way. But what I am going to do is You should not have had your federal time ran consecutive to your state time because the federal judge chose to run it concurrent. He felt that 28 years would have been a little excessive for what I was in for. I ended up getting sentenced to that, but he redid it and he said, okay, so I'm going to run your state sentence concurrent with your federal sentence, which is the way it should have been. And now the state of California has held you in 6 years past your release date. So good luck, Mr. Harrell, and don't make me regret the decision. That was that. It doesn't end there. Doesn't end there. The government, CDCR, and all of that, they got their fucking hooks in me and they don't want to let go, man. They do not want to let go. So when I get back, I get a recalculated timesheet, right? I'm thinking I should get home. 2 weeks later, I get one that says I got 6 more years to do. So instead of them being 6 years past my release date, they calculated it so screwed up. It was a 12-year swing that I now owed them 6 more years. Got it up, man. I filed appeals. I did all of that. Now they're telling my wife, look, he's got his calculations wrong. He's this, he's that. Every time she calls and I'm telling her, no, I don't. Now, a lot of times CDCR will browbeat somebody's old lady and their family members with false information to a point that they say, well, you know, he can't be right. This is the government. This is the prison staff and all that. They do this every day. They're the ones that are right. And the family members walk away and that guy just says, okay, so he doesn't. Well, you know, my wife didn't do that. She said, Ronnie, I know it's a big entity and I'm going to take your word that you're the one that's right. And the Department of Corrections is the one that's wrong. And so I filed a 602 and an appeal and they come back and they say, oh yeah, you know what, you're right. You only got 3 years left to do. I filed again, told them, no, it's nice to know that you're working in my direction, but you still got it fucked up. And they're telling my wife, look, man, we redid this. Yeah, we did find our mistake. We fixed it. He don't know what he's talking about. Again, I have to tell her, look, you got to hang with me and I need you out there helping me with it. She goes, I got you. I said, ride or die. I meant it. That didn't mean I ride or die ignoring you and not staying by your side and sticking it out with you. A lot of women, a lot of families do, and it's not their fault. It's a big entity, and it's just a hard thing to stick with somebody when the individual is telling you the government's wrong. The whole Department of Corrections is wrong. The people that have been calculating people's release dates all this time, they're wrong, baby. I'm the one that's right. My math is the good stuff, not their fuzzy math. And she stuck with me with it. Kept getting the information I needed, looking stuff up when I went to sleep, and all the I love yous and good nights were done. Well, she didn't do the good night. She did the I love you and stayed up looking stuff up. And we were in that fight together, the 18, right? So finally, I get them to admit a lot. And they get down to where finally they tell my wife. So what happens is I'm getting these emails for a couple of people in Sacramento, Department of Correction heads, right? And I'm looking at these few emails and I'm noticing that they set these emails up a particular way, having to do with the name and this and that, right? So I tell my wife, I say, hey, you know what? Give me a list of everybody in CDCR that's in Sacramento that works for the Department of Corrections from the director on down. And she does. She sends them to me on the tablet. What a great thing. So in come the names, right? And I sit down and I start creating the email addresses for each and every one of those names. And I create them and I put them there. I tell her, try a couple of these. Bam. The minute they went through and didn't come back, not going through, I knew I had it. So I made a message about lawsuits, what they're doing, how they screwed up, put it by the numbers, laid it out, and carpet bombed all of Sacramento. I mean, we carpet bombed. The next day, I was in the captain's office with squad and everything else, right? Oh, they're interested in how my release date screwed up, but you know what they're more interested in? They're telling me, how'd you get everybody's email address? Who gave you that? I'm telling them, no, I broke that code right there and put them together myself. They're going, yeah, right. And they're on my wife for the same thing. But at the same time, somebody's looking at the numbers and they're telling people, hey, you know what, this guy's probably right here. And his stuff's done wrong. So what happens is they tell my wife, you know what, it's a Thursday night. They call her late and tell her, you know what, he's either going to get out Friday. If he don't get out Friday, it'll be Monday. And she goes, I can't get there Friday. So she calls her friend who's a nurse and tells her, hey, He'll pick my husband up Friday morning for me, and then we'll work it out after he's out of there. So she's going to come, right? Good woman. Friday, it doesn't happen. So what does my wife think when they don't call her? They think, well, he's going home on Monday. That's what she thinks. That's what they told her. So Monday, she gets everything, her and my dog, the white one on the screen. They come rolling down to New Folsom. They're out in the parking lot, right? No, they're not letting me out. I wake up Monday morning. They tell me, you got a mental health hold. You still owe us a bunch of time. You ain't going nowhere. And my wife's in the parking lot to pick me up. And I call her again and I tell her they're fucked up and they're wrong. She goes, man, I know. She goes, I got you. I'm with this. I said, well, here's what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to go hand these cats all my food and everything, and I'm going on a hunger strike right now. She goes, okay. And so I go and do all of that. Bam, I go on a hunger strike. She gets at me at the tablet and tells me, you know what, I'm on a hunger strike too, right here in the parking lot, and calls the news channel, right? And then she calls the warden's office and tells them, I want you to know something. My husband's in that unit in there on a hunger strike right now because of what you know is going on. I'm out here in the parking lot with my dog, and I'm on a hunger strike too, and I ain't moving, and the news is coming. This is a story for them, husband and wife hunger strike at Folsom Prison because of. So that warden gets nervous, and he sends the public relations officer out there, right? And he goes out there to my wife, and he says, look, you need to call that news. Just call them off. And she does, and she tells him, yeah, I'm leaving. That story's done. And he says, I got you. See, he says, look, we got till 5 o'clock. He goes, just give me till 5. If you need to go on a hunger strike after that, man, just we'll do that. Then I'll call the news for you. But give me till 5 to see what's going on. If he's screwed up and it's fucked up, I'm going to fix it and we'll have him out. So about 2 or 3 o'clock that afternoon, they called me for release, and they let me out. And that's how much of a fight my wife had to put up with to get me out. And she stuck by my side. So without her out there, without her by my side, I would not have won that fight. Not in that amount of time. Eventually, I might have won it, but I wouldn't have. And that there's a moral of that story. Do not turn your back on it. A lot of times when these cats tell you I should be home, I shouldn't be in here right now, they're telling you the truth. And CDCR, rather than say, hey, you know what, we fucked up, we're going to fix it, they'll tell you, no, he's wrong, he's crazy. They even put a mental health hold on me to try to justify it that way, right? Oh, it didn't end there either. I shouldn't have had parole because they were six years they owed me. Had ate up my parole. They put me on parole, said I had to report. So I had to go down there, but I had already wrote the 602, the appeal, handed it to the parole agent. He sent it in, and they discharged my parole because I was right on that one too, but they made me fight them every step of the way. And like I said, I know what I'm doing the law pretty good. I didn't help a lot of people out at that point because I knew I was going home. I just knew it was a fight. But I just see this one kid who had given up, and he should have been home. He shouldn't have been in prison. And I told him, hey, stud, let me do this for you. Let me file this writ. I won't be here to follow through with it, but it'll do its own thing. So I filed the writ of habeas corpus for him. Bam, he didn't have a lot of faith in it. Nothing else to work before. That man's on the streets behind my writ right now. And I got word from that. So I was having Shane call in to give everybody that word, but I really just wanted to tell you that, and that's all based on a true story. That's real facts, real shit. Don't give up on them, man. Don't, even though it looks like they may be, oh, he just wants to go home so bad. He's just making this up. He don't have no action. A lot of times, man, and there's people in there right now that CDCR has put that weight on their family and their wife, and they had given up on him. And that guy really should have been home, and he's doing time because he missed the window on something that would have sent him home. You don't listen to them lawyers. You have faith in your man. You don't listen to CDCR. You have faith in your man. You have faith in your family member, and you stick by him. And even if you don't have faith and you just can't find it in your heart to find the faith, you can always fake it. Fake the funk. But stand by him, and a lot of times you'll find that it's going to make all the difference in the world. Like I said, without her standing by me, if at any time she would have stepped away, it'd have fucked me over big time. I needed her out there. I needed that voice out there. I needed somebody doing that research. I couldn't do it on my own. And I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own, not in that time frame. It would have took me a couple of years to make that fight on my own. She stood with me and got me out on the then and there. So there's going to be some pictures up. I love this dog. This dog's with me now, and she's a beast. She trained well, and Yeah, she don't let anybody near me with some bad intent. It's not going to happen. She's got a thing called bad intent too, and she's good for it. So I wanted to share that with you, and let's go ahead and quote Tammy Wynette: "Stand by your man. Um, don't turn back on him. You know you're needed. He may not always tell you you're needed. There's a lot on people's mind when they're trying to fight the fight to go home, but know, trust, and believe in his heart of hearts and his soul, you're needed." So we'll talk to you again whenever we get this whole thing set up pretty good, maybe Thursday. All right, now.